me. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey.
Yay.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm great. Due any day now.
Awesome.
How are you?
So we're just going to go ahead and start because I literally just pressed the start button, So I'll just go ahead and introduce you right now. So
Yeah.
everyone, today what we're going to do is we're going to do something special on today's live. I have one of my great friends, Katya Gorbacheva. Is that how you say it?
Gorbacheva. Yeah, that's
I know
right.
I jacked that up.
No,
I said
you're
it right?
good. Gorbacheva.
Oh. All right. And she's the third strongest vegan in the world. She teaches women strength skills, especially focus on powerlifting. She's an active coach at also posts about on her Instagram. You could definitely follow her there, where she posts about strength training, body mechanics, and also mindset. Also, she's specifies in women interest, strength, sports, body confidence, and progressive training. And she herself is pregnant. And what we're going to do today is she's going to share her journey when it comes to her pregnancy, training adjustments, and just being more transparent when it comes to the physical and mental changes during pregnancy. All right. So with that said, Katya, I know like we've been friends for a very long time. I would say maybe like close to 8 years. I think 8 or 9 years. Am I correct? I think so. I feel like it's somewhere around there.
I think we met at a Veg Fest in 2019 for the first time, or 2018 in Durham. And I mean, honestly, I'm very grateful to for you and for your friendship, because without you, I probably would have not like achieved as much success business-wise. Like you've given me some great business advice, and that allowed me to bring my lifting knowledge for the women and for the vegans more out into the world. So very grateful for you, Corinne. And now
Thank you.
Here we are.
Hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I play such an impact. I always just like seeing people winning. That's but it's glad to hear that. I'm glad that it really helped you out. But with that said, like when it comes down to everything, I know in the beginning you started with bikini bodybuilding before you got into the powerlifting.
Bodybuilding, yeah.
You started with the bikini. Like what drove that transition from bikini and to powerlifting? Because even myself, I transitioned from bodybuilding. Now I'm doing cycling, and a lot of people already know my story. But what was your story?
Yeah, I'm so glad you've transitioned to a performance-based sport, because I feel like it's so much better for mental health. I mean, you are an Army veteran, so I think your mental health is a lot more like a brick wall, like so much more resistant than like a young woman's mental health. When I was like, oh yeah, people will love me if I am like pretty and lean and I have a great butt and I will be happy. So I just got divorced, and I thought I need to look like a magazine cover in order to be happy. And I did look like a magazine cover, and that made me completely miserable. Anybody who's competed in bodybuilding can relate. When you're lean, when you are on stage, is probably not the healthiest or the happiest that you've ever been. You look cool on photos, but people comment in real life that you look like you're about to die. And you're like, damn. So doing that and then realizing it did not make me the happiest person, getting upset, getting even more depressed, and having some eating disorders on top of that post-competition with lack of support, because my coach was unavailable after the competition. I would say the most important time is after the bodybuilding competitions. I started preparing, switch coaches started preparing for figure, which was honestly a better division for me. I've been lifting for a while, so I would have done great in figure, except a month and change out, there was COVID and everything got canceled. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait and stay lean a little longer, and everything continued to get canceled. So yeah, I was supposed to compete spring 2020. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'll just, gain strength back, naturally gain some fat back. I still stayed much leaner than in the latter years. But the body dysmorphia started to subside. And with therapy, much needed after COVID and after bodybuilding, I've realized that making me thinking that I'm worth something just because of how I look was not something that I want to do. And like having 6 people that I don't know give me any kind of assessments based on the looks, it felt like a dog show. And I was like, I want to have something more objective in terms of sport. So that was just my personal disappointment with powerlifting that probably came from going into the sport, not being ready for it mentally. And yeah, stuck with powerlifting ever since.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you because, bodybuilding itself is subjective, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's very hard to, measure someone's performance based on basically just looks. And you're not alone. Like a lot of people go through it. I know I even went through it just a little bit. And because I'm constantly pinching my skin, looking in the mirror, thinking that you have to be like at this sub-level body fat level, just to please the audience and stuff like that. And then the problem is that when you're doing so much, you have to do so much work with so little food just to get the physique that you want. And it's like you say, you don't feel good. And even if you could balance it out, like your body starts taking a toll, because mine personally did as well. And especially years of doing it. So I totally understand. And with that said, like looking back, like, do you feel powerlifting gave you more freedom in training than bodybuilding?
I just feel like with powerlifting, I can live life and compete at the same time. With bodybuilding, I felt like my life was kind of, if you fill a vase with rocks, the only thing that you can put on top to fill it more is sand. And if you want to fill it some more, it's water. So if your vase is like 80% full of rocks, I feel like those rocks were bodybuilding and only I could sprinkle a little bit of life on top of it. With powerlifting, I feel the opposite. I feel like I live life. And listen, I've traveled with Veg Fist for 3 years. I still lifted, competed, and won. And I fit my powerlifting somehow on top of that. Personal life, dating, traveling, doing other things. And with bodybuilding, it would have been impossible. It would have just been impossible. Of course, traveling and powerlifting was not the most optimal thing, but it was possible. So now, like I'm pregnant, I'm still powerlifting. I moved. Every time I travel, I only had one vacation when I didn't powerlift. And it wasn't because I had to, it was because it was so fun to check out a gym with a friend who is a teammate in Paris or in Iceland or in Morocco or somewhere else. It was not like a chore. And with bodybuilding, at some point in prep, maybe like 8 weeks ish out, at least for me, like I was sick. I was done. And here I don't feel like the closer it gets to the platform, I'm just a little more tired, but I'm not cranky. I'm not hungry. Even if I'm cutting water or if I'm doing a gut cut, completely different thing.
All right. And me, I could definitely relate too, because like now it's freedom. Like, because for me, the only time I really had freedom was basically on the off seasons, you know what I'm saying? But then when you're in prep and you're trying to get ready for a show, it's like, some people think it's only like 12, 16 weeks, but it's not just that, especially if you have a particular goal that you're trying to achieve. Like mine was to get the IFBB Pro card. So it's like, I can't put all my eggs in one basket and just assume that I'm just going to win the first show that I do. You have to do a national level show so you get nationally qualified. Then after that, you have to kind of plan it out throughout the year of certain shows that you could possibly do. and then shows if you don't do well, what's the next show? Because once you're already that conditioned, you don't want to be going back and forth throughout the year. You kind of just want to stay that condition and then try to tackle as many shows that you can until either two things, you burn out or it's just the end of the year or the season, and either you got to those goals or you didn't. And what people don't realize is that bodybuilding is like it's more of a lifestyle than the sport. It's you sacrifice so much in bodybuilding, and it's such and the craziest thing about it is that it's so subcultured. So it's not even a huge sport, you know what I mean? And it's one of the sports which requires so much out of you, and a lot of people don't realize that. Especially entering versus a performance base, you could have more of a life, you know what I'm saying? Like you're telling me now, you could have more of a life because it's not all around food and
oh gosh, yeah.
Like food plays a big thing, like it plays like just when it comes to overall lifestyle, like I always tell people it plays about 80%, but when you're going into bodybuilding, it's literally 100%. I'm just saying it's 100 or 95% because it's so much you have to do around it. It's like you have to do because you can't just count macros and kind of like just get by, especially like you literally have to meal prep your meals, bring it everywhere you go. But with that said, obviously, I'm not here just to bash bodybuilding and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I've gained a lot of things out of it too. It's not, it was just like after 11 years doing it, I was like, I'm throwing in the towel. Like I'm done, but what was some of your best memorial wins from both sports, from bikini and powerlifting?
Yeah, totally. Powerlifting, Mr. America, I guess I've won every time we went with the team. I'm pretty sure I've placed every time I've competed with powerlifting. Actually, I've placed first or second, except for the nationals. At the nationals, of course, I didn't place that well. But going to the nationals was really fun. I did not place like at all. It was one of my worst meets, and we all got COVID there. But yeah, like the whole federation, everybody who went got COVID. But I'm glad I did get to go because I wasn't sure when I'm going to be able to go again. And that was the reality. I had other things next year, and now I'm not in the US. So I can't compete in the US, at least now that I'm going to be here with a baby for this upcoming year. My probably best win and best total in powerlifting is the North Carolina States Championship, where I won best lifter last year. I squatted 180 kilograms, benched 95, I think, or 97, and deadlifted 190. And I repeated the same deadlift in the Russian regionals that I've won this fall. Also won best lifter. Benched a little bit less. I think I benched 90 and squatted like 165 because it was really interesting. They had a slightly different bar placement rule. We've appealed that with the judges and won the appeal later, but the competition was already done. So because they made me put the bar higher where I usually don't have it, I've squatted less. Oh, by the way, I was 3.5 weeks pregnant and didn't know that. So that might have impacted things too.
So what's the story? Is that how you gained that title, third strongest vegan in the world? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
There is no title really. There's just the DOT score that you can go to openpowerlifting.org and see people by the DOT score. The DOT score takes into consideration your weight, your age. So if you're super young or super old, it gives you extra points. And it scales the weight you lift per your body weight. So if you're a super big person and you lift a lot, good for you. But if you lift the same and you're lighter, you would have a more DOTS score. So currently, I am right after the British national champion and the Belgian national champion, who both compete in the Worlds. And I think the only reason why I haven't competed in the Worlds is because I've lived in the United States, where there's like the most competition in terms of powerlifting. Like those women are insanely strong. So if I've lived in some European country, I would have totally been in the European and in the Worlds. But I'm in Russia right now, and our athletes are not allowed to go anywhere. So not mad about that, because I'm about to have a baby anyways. But yeah,
Okay.
those are the life realities.
All right, and let's talk about the pregnancy. Like, you know, I know you said that you're 39.5, maybe even 40 weeks now.
I'm 39.5 weeks.
Correct?
Yep.
Yep. And like, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how did you adopt your training from pre-pregnancy PR chasing to like pregnancy safe strength work? Can you talk about that adaptation?
Actually, it's interesting. The majority of the year, kind of like in bodybuilding, you don't just get lean and stay there. In powerlifting, it's a similar thought process. You don't just PR all the time. You usually PR right before your competition. So some people don't PR at all. They only kind of lead up to the competition, and then they PR in the competition, which if you're a natural lifter, a lot of the times your competition scores are better. Your competition, like squat, bench, deadlift, are better than what you've done in the gym, because you deload before. So you rest, you chill, you let your nervous system restore. So during the year, you stay somewhere around, like, I don't know, you build up from 60 to 70 to like 80. And the closer to the meet it goes, the closer it goes to 100% of your 1 rep max. But of course, because you have been training, your maxes probably have increased. You and your coach need to evaluate what is that total volume and total percentage, or RPE, that you work through closer to the competition. So I wasn't quite chasing PRs after I competed in the regionals. I came here and found out that I'm pregnant. And basically that was my first trimester. That was already like half of my first trimester. And started reading up on lifting changes during pregnancy. Everybody just tells you to stop. Everybody just tells you, oh, lay down and pray and do this for the next 9 months or however long. And it's really weird, because I actually was editing the pregnant research video before we started talking. That's going to come out on my YouTube about what is the latest research for the last 3 years of women training during pregnancy. So what I can say is you can lift throughout the whole thing, like I have, like the majority of my competing friends. You can lift basically until the day of. Yeah, you just lower the volume. And you naturally get rid of
go ahead. Just
laying in the stomach.
Okay. All right, perfect. So you can continue training while pregnant. It's just throughout each trimester you have to lower the, you said?
Yeah, so of course, everybody tells you to listen to your body and contact your healthcare provider. It's really annoying to read those articles, because it feels like 80% of the information is just those two recommendations. But there has been a study by Christina Prevet in 2023, studied almost 700 women who've lifted up to 80% max in Olympic lifting and CrossFit. So overhead stuff, not just powerlifting, like barbell overhead. And they've had the same amount of complications as women who did not lift anything. And they've had twice faster recovery compared to the women who didn't lift. There is also a study by Skog et al. That says that there is no significant impact on the pelvic floor in the short term post lifting. There is a study by Hume et al. Also 2023 that says you can do, that says that elite athletes must have different programming and different recommendations than people who don't lift, and those like don't lift over 20 pounds, don't bend below the knee kinds of things are not applicable to elite athletes. Clearly, it's weird that I need to say that, but people need to hear that, because the 20 pounds, I don't know where this number came from. I didn't know where this number came from, this maximum lifting during pregnancy magic number, but it actually came from the guidelines so that women at work don't get harassed by their bosses before they go into maternity leave. So it's a safety concern for work, for people not to overdo this stuff while they're pregnant and lifting like boxes, you know, at the Gap store, if they work at the Gap store, for example, or something. So those things are not applicable for people who are lifting at the gym. Clearly paying attention more than at work or more than in like daily life, and working on their health rather than something that they have to do for 8 hours, 5 days a week.
Got it. And like, while you're going through the trimester, like I know like the hips starts to get more wider. Sometimes even the spine starts to have a more of a curvature, start getting more of a forward pelvic tilt. Like, did you have to modify anything to prevent like back pain or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I will address that and the pelvic floor concern. Also, a lot of people are concerned with like, oh, you lift and your pelvic floor, you have more elastin, so you must be like stretching under that weight and not able to support yourself. Well, the number one advice that I can give to anybody who's about to get pregnant is prepare. You need to train your back before you get pregnant. And then with a strong back, you can do half of that training, or I don't know, 60%, 70%, whatever the comfortable loading for you is in each trimester. But like, for example, my maximum squat was 180 pounds. Like for me, I was squatting during pregnancy up to like 100-ish, maybe 95, 105 for reps. So let's say 105 is 58% of my 1 rep max. That is a relatively low percentage. But if I'm an untrained person and I try to squat 105 pounds, that is a different result that we're talking about, right? So women would be like, oh my gosh, you lift so heavy, except that's not heavy for me. So you need to get your back extremely strong, and then it can support that tilt in the hips. It can support the center of gravity that does shift forward. I have lordosis. So that was actually one of the reasons why I started lifting, is because I didn't want to have any back pain. And I did have hernias before powerlifting. I still have them. My whole family does. I have weird back genetics that we all have lordosis and back hernias. But I do think that my back doesn't hurt and hasn't hurt only because I strength train so much. And I haven't been wearing any of those like supportive belts or weird contraptions for the belly, just because I can afford to, because I've built that muscle. So if you have been diligent in building that muscle corset, you don't need to buy a corset.
No, that's good. Yeah, thank you for explaining. What I was trying to do is like bring up some of the pictures that you sent me. I'll bring it up a little bit later, though. Yeah,
no worries.
I'll bring it up a little bit later because But with that said, what about ladies who, you know, like they're new to the gym and they want to start lifting? Like, what's some advice would you give them? If like, should they lift or should they just stay away from it? If
we're talking about pregnant
before pregnancy, like they never worked out in their life and now they want to start working out and they just got pregnant.
Okay, we're talking pregnant ladies. So the first thing that I did was knowing that my OBGYN was not an athlete. None of my doctors were athletes. They've never touched a barbell in their life. I was like, I don't trust these people's advice. They don't know what I'm talking about. So I just looked online for power lifters who were pregnant. And I wanted to work with one lady who trained pregnant women, but she never went through pregnancy herself. So I was like, I don't know about that. So I would probably trust a clinician, a pelvic floor therapist, you know, a doctor who is themselves a strength athlete. Bodybuilder, maybe, but preferably a performance athlete, a barbell athlete. So whatever you do, whatever you want to start doing, you know, talk to the people who are more knowledgeable in that and who hopefully are also doctors if you're pregnant. So that was kind of my default. So I do recommend 2 podcasts that I found. One is Barbell Mamas, and the other one is Active Mom. Both of those women are PhDs, and they invite a lot of doctors who are also strength athletes. So just super useful information. I think one of them sells like a pregnant course and the other one doesn't sell anything, or maybe, I don't know. So they don't do it to make money. They do it to bring education to women. Or you're welcome to reach out to me, and I'm happy to look at your form first and then see if I'm comfortable writing you a training program. But I always ask for videos of women who reach out to me before training them, because I don't always feel comfortable, like if they have had injuries, maybe they need to see a PT first. Maybe they need to address like their ankle mobility and something that I cannot do. So yeah, reach out to a fellow barbell athlete who has been pregnant and can advise you on that. Listen to relatable women's podcasts who are doing what you want to engage in, and maybe gain some knowledge. And of course, get a second opinion if your doctor is like, oh, don't lift. It's bad for you. It's good for you. Every developed country, like health organization, the National Health Organization, be it WHO or ACOG, it doesn't matter, says lifting through pregnancy is what you should do, or doing at least 150 minutes of cardio at a best baseline minimum.
Yeah, no, I agree, because a lot of, I won't say a lot of women, but I've seen women, obviously I'm in the fitness industry, so like we see them all the time, but like I've seen women where they would take, once they're pregnant, they think it's like a free pass of zero workout, and then they eat and it's a free pass to eat what they want. Just sit around, be very sedentary. And then what happens is that once they already get pregnant and they have the baby, then they're like overweight now. Like it's not just baby weight, it's like more weight than they needed to gain. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, like let's talk about nutrition. Because we already talked about a lot about the workouts and stuff like that. What's some nutritional advice would you give? Because like I said, like some people would just be sedentary. Some people think that it's a free pass to just eat what they want. And like, I mean, what's your take on that?
Okay, so since I've started powerlifting, I can just say that if you are a strength athlete who kicks ass, you can basically eat what you want, because you're usually for most people, it's very hard for me to like gain a lot of fat, because I work out to such volumes that like I use all of that. I typically I have been gaining about a kilo, maybe half a kilo to a kilo per year, some of which is muscle, some of which is fat, but I've stayed between like 22 to 24% body fat ever since COVID, and the fact that the amount of weight on the barbell increases points to the fact that I have been gaining muscle. The majority of that is probably muscle. So my point is, if you kick ass in the gym, you can probably eat what you want. And if you kick ass in the gym during pregnancy, hey, same logic. You can increase volume on accessories. You can add cardio, like walking and swimming and doing whatever else more, if you feel like there's not enough volume for your strength training. Like my first trimester, I started swimming, then was doing a lot of family running around, so probably walked a lot. Doctors were actually worried I wasn't gaining weight too quickly. But the bigger you are, the less weight you gain during pregnancy. And now I'm at a healthy gain for a pregnant person. So yeah, your baby only needs 350 extra calories in the 3rd trimester. You do not need too much extra. But I'll tell you that, I mean, it's very hard to overeat. If you're a strength athlete, if you've been eating whole foods, vegan whole foods, just a healthy diet, not trash, it's very unlikely you're just going to, explode unless you lay on the couch and eat chips and drink beer all day long. And for that matter, being vegan doesn't help.
You're not drinking. Oh, no one's drinking beer. But I mean, how many calories? How many calories do you feel that you're track your calorie burning? Like, how many calories are you actually burning when you train?
How many calories am I burning? Not too many. I mean, powerlifters rest a lot. All of those memes about how you do one deadlift and then go for a 10-minute nap, they're real. Like we rest a lot. So we don't burn all that many calories. Not, I would say, even not as many as bodybuilders probably. Our intensity is a lot, but it's for such short amount of seconds that maybe 150, 200 calories like per hour. Per hour. Yeah, not more than that. You may be in the gym for 2 or 3 hours, so that probably impacts it. Yeah, don't try to take your deficit out of lifting activity if you are strength training. If you're trying to lose weight, like you need to take your calories. You need to put yourself into deficit either through nutrition or through cardio. Strength training is not enough. Strength training is just there to increase your engine that is going to burn more fat. I usually compare with like a train. If you want to do a bunch of cardio and lose weight quick, it's like getting a bike. You start fast, but then you cannot outpace the train. But starting with lifting is like you build your metabolism up and you build that engine up. And when that train gets some speed, you outrun all of the bikes, all of the cardio junkies who've been getting the deficit just out of cardio and nutrition. People who focus on strength training first, they burn more calories in the end just by having more muscle and walking around with it.
Okay, and now you did mention vegan, like you're vegan, eating plant-based diet. Now I know there's a big myth when it comes down to like being pregnant and being on a plant-based diet, like you're not getting enough nutrients for yourself or the baby. Like, what's your thought on that? What did doctors say when you told the doctor you're plant-based, or they're checking the blood work, they're checking the baby's health? Like, what was your experience?
Yeah, so one thing that I got to dig on from the doctors was iron. And the funny thing is my iron has been low since I was a kid. Before I was vegan, when I went vegan, when I was lifting, iron is also naturally lower in female athletes if you research that, and especially female athletes with normal BMIs. Like if you're towards the heavyweight, I think iron goes more towards normal or even above that. But if you're a smaller athlete,
vegan and non-vegan, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, vegan and non-vegan, everybody. Yeah, I mean, women have periods, we have lower iron. And if you're an athlete, yeah, also that's just a thing. So I've been kind of tracking my iron every time I give blood, every time I do my yearly blood work. And I like to donate blood every time they're like, oh, you should start eating meat. Your iron is so low. And I'm like, bitch, my iron has always been low. Like, I'm so tired of this. So I started taking the iron supplement in my second trimester, only needed to take it for like 3 weeks and it went back up to normal. One thing with iron, I would say, of course, there's beans and there's tofu and there's kale and leafy greens with lemon juice or vitamin C, but it is very difficult to raise without the supplement. So for the baby's health, that was one thing that I did to quickly raise it. Outside of that, blood work has been pretty flawless. I mean, knock on wood. So hopefully it's gonna be that way.
And what type of iron supplements are you taking specifically? Because I know with some people, they take iron supplements and it gives them an upset stomach. Do you have like any recommendations on a particular type, or just anything that really helps?
Whatever my doctor recommended. Yeah. So I do B12 injections and I do iron supplements. So speaking of supplements, I don't take creatine right now during pregnancy just because I think it's a waste of money. It's good to take during pregnancy, and it's not like recommended, but it's like good for the baby. It, I think, prevents even more gestational diabetes risk than just lifting. So yeah, creatine is good and safe to take overall. B12, omega-3s, vegan. multivitamin, D, vitamin D vitamin D, very recommended during pregnancy, just like the folic acid before you get pregnant and in the first trimester. And I dropped the iron pretty quickly, dropped creatine just because I only needed to compete when I'm doing the serious strength building, not now when I'm like chilling, lifting twice a week, pregnant.
Okay. I mean, is there any other supplements you feel that women should stay away from if they're pregnant, or they should
stay away from? I mean, caffeine in large doses. So I would not really do like a coffee and a pre-workout. Maybe only one of those things, or maybe if you are used to taking caffeine from powder form, really look into where it's and how it's being produced. I have not taken a pre-workout for, I don't know, a year and a half. I don't feel like I need it. So I only drink coffee in the morning, and I don't feel like I need anything except for electrolytes during my workout. No BCAAs, no nothing. Just creatine once a day, 3 to 5 grams, and morning coffee, and my typical supplements. That's it.
All right, perfect. And what I'm doing now is I'm just showing everyone some of the pictures that you sent,
Nice.
you know, and like,
thank you.
Yeah, this is her right here. All the wins, all the iron she's lifting, you know, looks pretty healthy to me, you know, and strong. You know what I'm saying? So everyone that's out there thinking that you can't lift heavy, I mean, this is the proof right here. And as Katya said, she even did her first not your first, but you did your powerlifting meet during your first trimester, but you didn't know at that time.
Yeah,
right?
most women don't know until like 6 weeks. So that was me.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good. Nice photos too.
Thank you.
That's cool. All right. Anything you want to share with everybody? Anything you want to share?
Let's see. I've shared some podcasts. I've shared some research. Probably my YouTube channel that has a pregnancy related videos playlist. So I don't know what year you're going to be watching this podcast in, but right now is 2025. And during the last 3 years, there has been an insane amount of studies just appearing all the time about what should women be doing during pregnancy in terms of strength training. So if it is not 2025, make sure to not just listen to this podcast, but also check recent studies that are current and fresh. Don't just rely on your doctor's knowledge that is 20, 40 years old, because it's probably irrelevant. Feel free to check out my pregnant videos playlist that is going to have a breakdown of first, second, third trimester lifting considerations, percentages, RPEs, exercises to avoid. What else? There is going to be a research video as soon as I finish it today. Probably the best resources, again, are doctors who lift, nurses who lift, midwives who lift, OBGYNs who strength train. Anybody with a barbell. Trust a woman with a barbell.
What about you? What about you? They could reach out to you too, right?
Of course, they can reach out to me. They can reach out to me on Instagram, veganpowerlifter.com. You can use a coaching application form just to ask a question if you don't have social media. There's not going to be a pregnant course most likely, because like I said, I do think that stuff needs to be personalized. But if you're just looking for strength training advice during pregnancy, there's self-guided courses and there's strength training programs that are custom made. So for that, you do have to reach out and send me some videos. Do not also trust a coach that considers themselves a strength coach and writes your program just out of the blue without seeing how your body moves. That's a BS coach. They should base their program solely and only on your body anthropometrics. So without seeing how you move, I cannot write your program, and nobody should if they are a strength athlete and a strength coach.
Got it. Well, Katya, thank you for coming on and sharing all these good tips and and sharing your stories when it comes to being pregnant and lifting heavy and breaking all those myths, because obviously you're crushing it. And I want to say good luck with the pregnancy. You're almost there, so you're almost at the finish line. So good luck for everything.
I'm like, when is this going to be done? This is ready to come out.
But I'll go ahead and let you go. Okay. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Corinne. This was really fun.
All right. Peace.